Welcome back to my channel. My name's Astara and I'm an angelic communicator and clairvoyant. And I want to talk to you today about the twin flame journey and the powerful lesson that we're learning on the twin flame journey of releasing control and projection onto our twin. Now, we have grown up in a paradigm where control and projection have been the currencies of love, have been currencies of communication. Most people are experiencing these kind of things from the moment they're born, even in the womb, it's around them. So it's kind of natural that we would think that this is a very ordinary, even healthy process of responding to someone we love. But this is a message really for anyone who's walking the twin flame path to work out how they can really come into union with their twin. And this must be with a very sacred frequency, like working out what is love on a very sacred level, a sacred frequency. And it's the kind of raw quality that requires us to do a bit of shadow work. And it's also the kind of raw quality where the ego doesn't get to lead. And love is about honoring that person in their freedom rather than possessing them. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges because we are taught from childhood all the way conditioning through our teenage years through into adulthood that to love someone is about possessing them. So if you're on the twin flame journey, you'll notice that if you go into any sort of possession or like chasing your twin, ownership, over attachment with your twin, they will run. That's how that will work, and you'll get burnt. So you're learning that this isn't the way to approach your twin or how to think about your twin or feel about your twin. And so what we're doing here is shattering illusions. We're shattering the illusions of paradigm based on control manipulation. And some of the things you'll get to understand if you're on a twin flame journey through your own stumbling around, because we're all learning how this works, is you do not own your twin. So even when you've worked out that they're your twin flame, there can be a natural kind of like, oh, because they're my twin, I must own them. And I want to say here that most people who think they're on a twin flame journey probably aren't. The twin flame journey is, if you think that you're having a really unusual time, then you're probably on a twin flame journey. And if you can't get off it, you're on a twin flame journey. So even now, if I ask people about their twins, often that some of them will still not know, even though it's very clear that they're a twin. And I did do a video on how you can be from the same place, how you can be of the same star frequency. And if you're asking people about twin flames, people often have a funny projection about it. So if you ask them, oh, well, am I from the same star? Often they'll get a yes. So that's another good way of knowing. So you cannot own your twin, just so you know, because you have to respect their free will as you respect your own sovereignty and free will. And you do not control your twin. You cannot control the process they're in. And you're not here to project your expectations onto them. Now, it's really classic that the feminine, because she's the more awakened twin, the more spiritual twin, will suddenly feel like she knows everything that's right for her twin. Because often she'll see it. She's a seer, she's a visionary, she often has incredible empathic qualities and the mental telepathy. So she'll be able to see things much, more kind of clearly than her twin. And it's going to be really hard for her not to react to that, being able to see. But you're here really to love them. And that love is the kind of love that's unselfish and it's free. It's allowing freedom in the way that your matrix twin probably never has been allowed freedom and never has been free. And what you're doing here is actually you're freeing yourself in this dynamic. You're allowing yourself to be free. Okay, so if we're looking at projection and ego kind of control, then sometimes the things that are coming up in your mind could be something like, you need to act this way so that I can feel safe. Or you should act like this so I can feel validated. Or you have to change so I don't have to face myself. How many times do we hear this, and we're told clear communication, when you're with your partner, and if you're in a soulmate relationship or a karmic relationship, you'll be doing these kind of communications probably like, You need to do this for me to feel this. And this is a kind of codependent wound that you must hold on to my wounding and heal it for me. And I'll sit back and often do nothing or hold on to your wounding and I'll heal that for you, which is impossible. So the twin flame dynamic is turning this all on its head. And it's saying to you that true love or real love or the kind of love that we want to experience that is based on freedom and sovereignty and moving away from codependent love is when you say to your twin, you just be who you are, and I honor your path. I respect and honor you as you walk your path in this way, even if they're doing like a complete mess. And the matrix twin is often repeating cycles. They're trying to get out of the matrix, yeah? And so, what were you like when you were trying to get out of the matrix? Were you making the same mistakes, often with karmics? You were going a loopy-de-loop, going around and round, repeating the same patterns. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to release themselves from very, very intense conditioning. So, to say to them, be who you are, is in itself very triggering because most of them don't know who they are. So, the other thing to say to your twin is, I release you. And it's in the same way saying that I release control over this situation. I release you from my projections onto you, my story about how this is going to be between us, how what this is going to work out. And I meet loads and loads and loads of beautiful, just amazing divine feminines in my work who are waiting for their twin to join with them and to become power couples and like to really move forward in this reality. They can see it all, they can see the vision, and they're just waiting for this person to come towards them. And it's the most torturous thing to see in the twin flame journey because these women are ready. These divine feminines are ready. They're ready for action. They've done the work. They are waiting. And they shouldn't be waiting. They know that. So they're focusing on their lives, focusing on their work. But they know that when their twin comes in, they have a mission with them. They have a divine mission that they're going to be playing out together. But watching their twin faff around, spend years looping with karmics, spend all the kind of difficulties that their twins go through, where their twins are looking at, oh, what will people think of them if they go out with this person? What will this mean? Da 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 da. I want to be single life. I want to do polyamory, blah 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 blah. Like you name it, in these readings, I've seen everything. Like the amount of avoidance and distraction that these Matrix twins go into, it's like watching a cartoon. It's like watching Tom and Jerry almost. But it's part of the feminine power to sit back and go, okay, that's my twin. And I'm kind of seeing, and this might trigger someone, I'm kind of seeing an older version of myself going around and around and around in a circle. And I'm kind of judging them because it's kind of easy, isn't it? When you've reached your power, like a more powerful spot in the future, you look back and you kind of judge people who are not there yet. But you went through a pathway, just like they're going through a pathway. And they need time to go through it. And they also need time without you projecting onto them. Because if you really want them to be free from the matrix, it also means being free from other people's projections onto them, other people's conditions, and anything that starts with the sentence, you should. Because that's not true freedom, is it? That's not true freedom. A true sentence would be coming from that person, I will. I will it to be this. Meaning, in my willpower, I choose this. And that's what you want. You don't want someone doing something because it's out of duty, they feel like they have to, there's all sorts of resentment that builds up. So by releasing your twin from your story about who they should be, is actually allowing them to experience that freedom. And then when we come to timing, oh my goodness, the timing thing. How many times have I done readings for people who are saying to me, when will they come in? When will I hear from them? When? And I know what it's like. If you're a divine feminine, you are literally from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you go to sleep, they're on your mind because you can feel them in your energy field. And you're thinking, when will they come in? When will they tell me the truth? When will they do this? When? And if we could do anything in this story, And I think I'm going to design a meditation here to release this when situation. It needs to transform into I trust the divine timing of our connection, of our union, and of your becoming and of my becoming. Because in this process, watching your twin do all the crazy stuff that they're doing, they're trying to come forward and initiate into their own sovereignty. They're trying to find their power. And you also are learning mastery of your own power. And that's mastery where you are not waiting for your twin or anybody else to give you permission or the power to step into your divine mission. This is the one area which the divine feminine struggles with because we have lived in a patriarchal world. We've been conditioned to be a certain way. And if you can imagine that if any of that programming is left in your makeup and your twin comes in, let's say you get married, you become a wife, then all the programming about being a wife and where that puts you, like slightly below. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but there's a lot of programming around this is it puts you slightly below them. They're taking the lead. You're being the receptive one. They're being the yang. You're being the yin. Any programming around that is gonna hold you back. And we are moving beyond this paradigm, okay? And this is a big thing where the woman, the wife, the feminine gives all her energy to the masculine. And then he has this fabulous career. He has this fabulous autonomy. He makes all the money, blah, 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 blah. And then we go back into this terrible situation we've been in. So standing in your power as two sovereign beings is where you're going. So every time you ask when, you need to relook at, okay, I trust the divine timing of your becoming and my becoming. And that does not have a time limit on it. If it takes the rest of your lifetime, then that's how long it's going to take. And the more we can get used to that and stop allowing it to trigger us, then the easier this is going to be. So I want to highlight here that control is a form of fear. If you're going into control around something, it's because you have a fear. And it means that you want to shape and manage and micromanage something around you, usually your twin, so that you don't have to sit in the unknown. But when we're looking at this unconditional love frequency, true love is knowing that there is creativity happening in your space. There is an organic process happening in your space. That love is trust as well as creation principles. And you are in a dance of the divine, not a battle of your ego with how you want to imprint it on on everybody else and your life. So when you let go of control and you begin to stop being the jailer in your relationship where you're putting your twin in a prison of your making and yourself, actually, you're putting it yourself in that prison. You stop writing a script that nobody agreed to act in that script, in that little play, in that story you created. And most importantly, you allow yourself to breathe and you allow your twin to breathe, to grow, to evolve. This is like live by example. And one of the other things that I'm constantly telling my friend who's on a twin flame journey is you do not want to mother that person. We are beyond this. We are so beyond this because the patriarchy has kept men and the masculine immature and it has pushed women in from the yin into their yang energy where they've had to become the mature one, holding it all together, like holding their energy for it. And we no longer want to hold this because it's exhausting. And it's really important that this mothering concept that you mother things like your children, you mother your children, you mother your projects. You do not mother your partner. You do not mother your twin. So in doing that, you give yourself permission to really breathe and be who you are as well. So many people think detachment means indifference, but I want to say that this is the opposite. Detachment is the ability to love and allow someone to be who they are. It says, I love you so much, I won't interfere with your soul journey. or I trust your higher self and I trust mine too, because we've got the same higher self if you're a twin. And when you reach this place, I think it allows them to breathe. I think it allows your twin to breathe in your company, and the projections start to just dissolve around that because they're almost becoming like a very sticky energy. And it's like, well, why do I want to leave the matrix and this karmic to enter a situation with my twin where I'm just being bossed around and projected on? That's not fun. That's not what we want to do here. It's because your twin feels it energetically. Your twin actually feels the cords of pressure, control, and expectation. And if you let go of those things, they will start to fall away. And if you just allow that love between you to kind of say to them, it's okay, just be who you are, just be who you are. And that's really powerful because when we come into that space, we can release any projection we've carried on ourselves and also the masks and drop away, the guilt, the shame, all the other stuff. We're going into a level of forgiveness of ourselves and of them. And you stop being the mirror of that wounding and start becoming a mirror of liberation for your twin. There is nothing more powerful than your twin see you rise because it's the same energetic frequency. And when you upgrade, so will they. So I want to say here, there is no room for control in love. No, I mean, control creates prison, love creates something that is more creative and expansive. And we are in the paradigm of free will. Like we have free will here. Why would we want love that controlled us? Just be aware here that if you're feeling a tension, then just ask yourself, am I loving my twin or trying to control them? Just, maybe even journal on that. Am I allowing the divine to flow through this connection or am I gripping it and trying to shape it or force an outcome? When I go, when will, when will they contact me? When will I see them? We're kind of forcing an outcome here. So the truth is, the more you try to control this relationship, the more you trap your twin and yourself and they will run from you. And we don't want to become slaves to codependent versions of love that aren't based on reality, they're based on illusion. So, if you want to really allow yourself to grow in this situation, it's time to breathe, to return to trust, and allow your love to become what it was always meant to be, which is two flames independent, standing side by side and glowing with one another, not enmeshed, not one great big firebomb fizzling each other out. And allow yourself to become that resonant quality of unchained, alive, a living quality, unfixed, divine love. Well, if you like this and it was important to you, I really suggest like journaling this and sitting with it and working through the layers of your heart to really see where you can be free and liberate yourself into love. And thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening to my channel. If you liked it, share it with anybody who's on the twin flame journey. I do one-to-one sessions with people on twin flame journeys to help them really bespoke work out what's going on and see where it needs liberation to help them along with it. But thank you for listening.